we only have one ban card regardless.
How much is up here, right?
Barrage more of a problem than Verte. Cannot be confirmed.
So did anybody think that Barrage was actually an issue?
No. No.
We got one. Nick, what'd you say?
Did not occur to me that could be banned.
In my opinion, this definitely took me by surprise. At least I did not think this was necessary at all. I don't think it did anything really. Like it just seemed kind of redundant. Like maybe we were asking for it before, but as I feel like as the metagame progressed, it became less and less of a problem with Zeus and more of a problem with Revolt. Like maybe like beginning of the meta, Barrage was an issue, and then but like even then.
Completely agree.
Or pre-Trident ban, that too maybe.
Even with Trident ban, it was just like, why? Like Barrage is only good going second.
Well, me and Nick discussed this earlier. Of like, it's kind of like that Saki third card to let you play.
It's your third step in the Tri-Brigade combo line. Like,
so you go like normal summon, Kuraz, and then like if you have Barrage also, that's also like just another way to keep going because you can go into Bear Bloom, summon another Tri-Brigade from hand, or not Bear Bloom. What's it? I keep forgetting the name. Blossom.
Fairjet.
Yeah, and then summon a Tri-Brigade from hand anyway, and then you can just keep comboing that way. So it
It's
was
just
like that Saki third.
Like pseudo eat emergency teleport.
Yeah, but my logic was it could just be like we talked, and it could just be like Monster Reborn or something, and it accomplishes the same thing.
yeah.
It's just from grave instead of deck. That's all. Obviously, deck's just better. Also, Barrage like can stick on the field, which is kind of annoying. They like constantly get value.
Makes Droplet more valuable, that's a minor thing, but I remember thinking that when I saw one of the other cards that got hit on this list.
Yeah, because we can lump together that deck being hit because obviously it was Barrage and Tenki that went to one.
Tenki to one, yeah.
So we can lump that in here because obviously they hit the consistency of the deck extremely. Like I think that's what they were kind of going for, like just hitting consistency.
Yeah. I actually think that the Tenki hit was probably the most significant hit out of any of the hits to the meta decks on this list. Just because, I mean, with Barrage, it's already at 1. It is that extension that we were talking about, but reducing it from 1 to 0 copies, it definitely takes the ability to go into like a Thoroughblade play to discard. Now you kind of have to have the Zoo cards in your hand.
Right.
But Tenki to 1 directly hits Tri-Brigade in the sense that now they can't open up Fractal, which is probably their best monster to open with. And I mean, also, like, you don't even think about just Tri-Brigade here, but Zodiac is really hurt by this.
Oh, Zodiac's just not a deck anymore. That was just
Zodiac's dead.
This just got brutalized. You have one Tenki, no Barrage. Now you just need to draw the Zoo monsters, which means you probably have to play more of them.
I know that there was like a couple people that were playing just pure Zoo, and they're just like very upset.
Very sad. I know somebody who was playing that, and I don't know how you adjust to that.
But but you mentioned a good point with Fractal, like going from 4 Fractal, or I'm sorry, going from 6 Fractal to 4. That's big. That is a big percentage of.
That is big, yeah.
Yeah.
Of things that you can.
Not seeing the starter that you want.
I mean, you can still obviously go for like Nerval and stuff, but it just becomes a complete neg if you have to go like Nerval, Almirage, get Fractal to like do something like that. It's just like a complete neg.
Much worse. Yeah.
Which I'm more okay with. And you plays in the Veiler way harder. Like, I think this is more significant than people like may be led to believe at first.
Yeah.
It also turns off Tri-Brigade from so many of the Beast Warrior engines that they have been tinkering around with. Obviously, Zodiac was the best one.
Oh yes, but there was Ancient Warriors, right?
There's Ancient Warriors as well. And now with one Tenki, it's kind of hard to justify playing those. Especially since Tenki, I remember Ancient Warriors they send as cost to Tenki, right? To fill their cards. Yeah, so now on top of that, if you ever played Zoo with the Ancient Warriors, now you lose the Barrage as well. So those cards that are just on the field. Same thing with Droplet, makes Droplet worse in this deck. A lot of times Tenki's just on the board. Yeah, the tanky hit, in my opinion, is probably the most significant hit on the list. But
it was between that or Meow Meow for me. I couldn't tell which one I thought were the two most significant, but that was definitely those. But I think that like the tanky, like I know I understand going from watching the other YouTube reactions, we'll say, this list is very widely hated, like by a lot of people. This is like I have never seen someone yet on the reactions go like, oh, that was a good ban list. This was good. It addressed some of the problems. Like maybe next format will be like, no, this list has been getting shit on from like every direction.
It's one of those minimalized lists that they occasionally do where there's like they'll like just tap like every like big deck a little bit.
Yeah, it's because it's not a meta that's unfair.
Yeah, and they're not going to completely like gut a deck unless they need to gut a deck.
Yeah, this isn't Pepe. This isn't Dragon Ruler. This is maybe like 30% of the representation in Top Cut, I think, was Tri Brigade. Roughly, that's like a rough average, maybe if that. And then it was like another like 25 or 20%, and it was like broken down it was pretty evenly in Top Cut, I would say. Like it was definitely no like glaring issue or like Spiral with like the 98% or something, like an insane number. Like this format was very diverse, and I don't think that they needed to do anything. And people obviously want BANLIST to be big and like exciting to do stuff to hit a lot of different things, but in all actuality it really doesn't need to be anything crazy as long as the metagame's diverse, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that is a very good point. A lot of times I think because we're so used to the ban list existing, I hear a lot from people that they'll say, oh, this card needs to go, or this card is unfair, or, this card's really good. And especially that last one, it confuses me sometimes. Just because a card's good doesn't mean it should be banned, you know?
Right.
There are plenty of good cards in the game. Should they all be banned? You know, of course not. But, you know, somebody's just tired of playing against this card for a few months, and they just want it on the ban list. But that's not really... If the person's thinking about the ban list as like a balancing tool, that's not really what you should want. You shouldn't want to ban somebody's good card because it's good and you played against it a lot. It's not really a sense of ban list.
Right.
But I see that a lot with people, and I think your point's basically right. Like, you shouldn't look always to see things banned. Like, it doesn't need to be a big ban list if the format's not that bad. And I don't think the format is that bad.
No, it's stale. It's definitely stale. Like, we've had the same things for a long time now, especially with all the product delays and whatnot. There's definitely hasn't been anything new in a couple of months.
But I guess people are used to, well, the ban list when they had it only twice a year, when it was like,
oh, they're both big.
Every 6 months, and it was like, and you just get like decks getting obliterated left and right. Every list is like, all right, what's going to get banned? And there was like 5 or 6 cards banned, and like 5 or 6 cards going to one. And
that was a long time ago now. Looking back at it, that was a long time ago.
Like now we get what, 3 times a year about?
I think it's 4. I think it's 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I think it's one every 3 months.
Yeah, so it gives them more of a. It's not more of a gutting of the format. It's just more of a slight adjustment.
Yeah, which I feel like it should have been to begin with, regardless. But it was definitely more exciting back then, I would say, though. That was definitely the upside. Like, it was way more exciting.
Super hype.
The ban list comes out, you're like, I remember us like sitting in the car like one time, just like refreshing on the day, because it wasn't like no sooner than it was like, oh, this day it comes out, like that was it. So I mean, it was nice back then. It was funny, but now it's like we have to take it for what it is. It's more. I feel like it's more professionally done now, which is good. But all right, we got a little off track with general ban list discussion after Tri Brigade. The Tri Brigade after the Tri Brigade hit being more than what most people suspect, I suppose. So I guess we can move on to Ava, because we went all the way down to Tinky. Would be the first
Ava,
monster.
that was just I guess a consistency hit to Drytron. I'm air quoting consistency.
It's like a ceiling hit almost.
This
like
is
a power hit to it.
Yeah.
So you don't get the double search.
I actually don't like this hit at all. I wish they hit something else. I wish it was like Herald of Orange Light to 1, like something like, because Ava's only as good as the good fairies you can add, right? So if you put like Orange Light to 1, like they can only add like 1 Orange Light and then like Diviners to an extent, but like those are just dead at some point. You know what I mean? If you add too many Diviners, not doing anything other than being Herald bait. And you're not playing like green whites or some shit. Like you just start playing piss at that point.
What's wrong with green light?
Oh my god.
What's wrong with purple light?
What are you negating? The one Tenki? Is that what we're negating now?
Yeah, we're gonna hit the one tanky.
Okay, cross out. You get cross out designator now. Hey,
I think Drytron's a hard deck to hit. That's the problem. Like, there's so many searching cards in that pile that, like, it's one of those ones I can't even fathom how to hit it right, I guess would be the way to
Without obliterating it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, let's say we put alpha to 1. It's like, okay, there's like 9 ways to get to alpha regardless, even if it's at 1.
Right. I heard calls for Ben 10 to be banned as a common thing. I think that would have been a little too much.
I don't hate it because it does what it at the end of the day that would do the job, right? Like that would end the Herald problem, like make it less consistent to get to it and to get a lot of value for. I feel like cards that aren't supposed to be getting that much value.
True.
And that would also stop the Cyber Angel shenanigan, Beatrice double Ava, add 4 combo shenanigan that we all hate now.
Yeah, the add 4. So the Ava, like you guys were saying, Ava to 1 now stops the Herald from being. There's a common problem against that deck where, I mean, obviously you have the Herald. If you can't answer that Herald, at that point they have 4 interruptions minimum. You know, assuming they didn't make a Dragoon or an IP as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty hard to play through, and even if you do resolve, say, a Dark Ruler no more or a Kaiju over that Herald, they still have 4 fairies in hand, 2 of which are going to be Elmer's Lane. So those are 2 hard interruptions on your monster effects, completely removing your guys off the board. Kind of tough to play through. Ava to 1 definitely limits that. I don't know that this. Well, I guess this kind of does the job, right? This is kind of what Vince was saying. It's not a complete neutering of a deck. It's just a light touch. It definitely lowers the ceiling. The deck is completely playable, though, as it was before, in terms of the engine. Yeah. What does the deck do? It does the same exact thing. It's just now your second Beatrice effect, if everything goes on uninterrupted, is going to have to send something else.
Yeah, it's a Drytron name. Yeah, it sounds like a Drytron name you didn't have in the beginning.
I think the deck's combo is going to change. I don't think it's going to stay Beatrice. That just doesn't seem good. There's no reason to go for it anymore because you're going to get the first Ava in regardless, I think, right? Like,
I mean, that's what you do. That's what you do with that Beatrice, though.
Well, I'm assuming you just link off the Beatrice now, right? Like, you just don't keep it. There's no reason to keep it there, I would assume.
It depends on what's in your hand, I guess. Sometimes you do have to get that Beatrice to get another fairy.
Yeah.
To get the Ava and the fairies, rather. Is what I mean.
Like, we're not Drytron players by any means, but I mean, like, I'm assuming the combo is going to change a little bit. There's definitely going to be some kind of innovation again to the Drytron deck to make it as
with a deck like that, I feel like they could definitely maneuver around that.
It just changes from 4 negates in hand with Ultimus out to 6 to 4.
Well, I think that was one of the biggest issues was if you like droplets the Herald or you Kaiju the Herald, and then it's like, all right, good job. Now you still have to deal with the 2 orange lights that are in their hand that you're probably not playing through regardless.
That it's asking your hand to do a lot more than it probably can. It's like, all right, you did a Kaiju and you need to play through 2 more things and continue to play over this, giant wall of a Herald right there. What is it, 3,000 defense?
Yeah. Don't they have? It's like 38. I think it's even bigger. I think. Don't they have IP too usually? Isn't that also on the board?
They will often have an IP or it's a Dragoon out there. So if you just covered the Herald, you still deal with that.
Like it's just way too much. I think when things add hand things, it's when it gets a little silly because you have to deal with the board plus the hand, and that's just too much for anything to deal with.
Yeah, I've noticed that decks that put everything out onto monsters only, and they don't have graveyard recursion for the next turn, or like you just said, cards in their hand to interrupt, say hand traps or whatever. Those decks seem to be a lot worse nowadays. Understandably so. I mean, they're utility cards; they can just answer the board.
Right. There's like a million combo decks, but how many combo decks end with like say an extra hand trap in the hand or 2 hand traps in your hand, or have back row in the middle of their combo? Like
not many.
And just as a side note, that's also why I think the bug deck's going to get better because they have a trap and a hand trap that are both searchable in the deck. That's just a side point, but.
Who's gonna get good?
The bug B Trooper.
B Trooper.
Oh, right.
Because they have a counter trap and they have a guy that specials from hand as a hand trap. So I think that's
they have a diverse board.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things you have to address.
So I think that's something to keep in note of, just as a side note. Okay, so that was Ava. So we can go to Prank Kids Meow Meow. Thoughts on the Meow Meow hit?
Going first. the deck does the exact same thing. It doesn't stop to go in first play.
Correct. It's the same exact combo going first.
It's the same exact combo, but it is now harder for them to just go off again. Yeah, and close it out because they can't just like get a free body with a second Meow Meow.
No, that's true. I agree. Hello, Dark Force, by the way. If you guys have any opinions in the chat, feel free to message, and I will address it. But
if there's any issue, and the other issue is that they don't use the Meow Meow to like trigger Butler. They would have to put it back in the extra deck with pranks. So it's like, do you want to use the Butler? Now Butler becomes
right.
Oh, do I want to banish my only Meow Meow to trigger the Butler and have double Raigeki, or do I just shuffle the Mew Mew back in so I can extend on the next turn and just have my one Raigeki?
Right.
There is definitely that. Yeah.
It definitely puts them in an awkward spot. I think that's the.
Yeah.
They have a choice to make on their full combo turn one every time.
I will say that this is another thing that a lot of people were talking about as to what to hit, whether it was Meow Meow. The second most common thing I heard was Doodle. And I also heard some people saying Fansies or one of the prank kids that can help make Butler. I think Doodle would have definitely affected the deck's combo on turn one. Usually you go into 2 Doodles on your turn 1 combo line. So 1 would make it a lot harder to pull off your play unless you had a bigger volume of prank kids in your opening play.
Yeah.
I think that maybe would have been too much though. So maybe this is Konami's approach. And they said, we'll put the Meow Meow to 1, and like Vincent and you said, you have to make a choice on your opponent's turn. Are you going to Raigeki twice? If you are, okay, you're going to need your Prank Kid's Place, your continuous spell, to make a token to go into a Link 2 next turn. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to, like I was saying, close out the game. Because you can Raigeki your opponent's board, but if you can't win the game, you just have a bunch of little dinglers out there that don't really do anything.
Right.
And they're going to die next turn, So Yu-Gi-Oh! Is very quick. So you kind of have to end the game at that point.
Yeah, it's gotta be
the choice has to be made. The choice is made actually on your end phase of your first turn if you want to keep Mew Mew or put it back in.
Yeah.
Because pranks happens on your end phase.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, do I want it or not want it? And it's like depending on the matchup, and sometimes you don't know what you're playing turn if you're going first.
We are definitely going to address Dragoon in this conversation somewhere, by the way. Someone in the comments asked about Dragoon.
Dragoon.
Oh, well, wait, we're not there at Dragoon yet. He will. I was gonna do like an after. Is there any like wishful thinking things that could have been addressed?
Wished had been here.
Yeah. But overall for the Meow Meow hit, I kind of would have liked Doodle hit only because I think it would have made cards like Imperm and Veiler like very good against the deck and making Prank it just like I'm fine with it being consistent. I'm not fine with it being able to play through things while being consistent. Because no matter what, the deck's going to be consistent regardless, as long as Meow Meow's not banned. Like, it's always going to be able to do what it does. So you might as well make it, like, fragile, I guess. To hurt it. So if they go their one cock-a-doodle-doo, and then you just impermanent or Veiler it, it's like, okay, what do you do now? Or you Gamma it, say, and just kill the thing. And it's like... Like, I would rather have it that way than like make the I guess then the choice, because you still have to deal with the set spell and then deal with the Butler unless you have something like droplets, let's say, to out the Butler.
Yeah, I think definitely making the deck more susceptible to hand traps, which obviously the Meow hit doesn't really do, would make the deck a little more I don't even know the term, interactable. You could interact with the deck better.
Like punishable, I guess would be the way.
Yeah, it's hard enough with the field spell.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can make a board and then like they do the field spell like twice, and then your guys are just small and just beat over whatever you made anyway. It's very niche, but it definitely has come up more than a few times for me playing against it. And chain blocking too, which is very annoying.
And like the passive protection effects they just get. Yeah,
it's a lot of frustrating things, but overall I don't think it was bad. I just think Cock-a-doodle-doo would have been better, but that's just me. Or Doodle-doo, whatever it's called.
It's a good hit. Like Meow Meow, I think was a warranted hit.
It was something that was good.
Yeah, that's where it's like you see Mew Mew before Mew Mew, and then like after it,
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, after it just becomes crazy, but then before it, it's like it didn't do anything.
Yeah, there was two good choices that they could have made, and they made one of them, so I'm happy. All right, so that was all the major stuff, I suppose. Now we're gonna go to the semi-limit list, where I feel like this is where it gets more fun. It's like more funsy stuff, because everything else was pretty minor, or not minor. Like all the major stuff was really short. So I guess the first thing would be Danger Nessie, going back to 2, which I feel like anytime a danger is involved, I'm always nervous because they're only used in like degenerate things for the most part.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of Nessie at 2. It's definitely probably one of the out of the 3 that were at 1. It was probably the least useful one at 2, but I'm not really sure what to make of it at 2. I think it just, like you said, it just allows people to play more combo-oriented decks, just more danger copies generally.
Right, because honestly, dangers have never been used in something that's like balanced. Like, you know what I mean? Like every time you play against a danger deck and you lose, it never feels like good. It feels very sacky, like no matter what. I genuinely think that they're like pretty poorly designed cards, if I'm being honest. Just the way that they're worded and multi-turnable and all this shit. But like I wouldn't mind keeping these at 1 just because I just don't want to see them.
Yeah, I remember when they first announced them, reading them, and I was like, wait a second. So if I ash them, they can just activate again? And somebody's like, yeah. Well, why? Why is that a big deal? I'm like, that's not fair. I don't want that card coming onto the field.
Because we're in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! and things everything should say once per turn, or you can only use this effect once per turn, or whatever it might be. And the fact that these don't is absolutely absurd. But
I mean, out of the ones that bring back, Nessie's like
the safest.
I guess the safest choice, because I mean, it's not one that it's not a guaranteed floater.
Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, it's by no means a bad card, I'll say though. I mean, if you do discard it, it does get you one of the 2 best ones, and those ones are definitely gonna. Well, I won't say definitely, but you know, there's that RNG element to dangers. You know, did you open the Tsuchinoko so that if you discard Jackalope, you can't resolve it now? What's your danger size? Which like the package that you're running.
Right.
They are very weird cards.
Yes, they're very unique. There's definitely nothing else like it in the game completely.
I like the idea of them, but there was too much degenerate stuff happening with them. I
mean, let's like Slash Draw became competitive. I think that says enough.
Yeah.
All right. We can go to Pendulum.
Pendulum.
I will lump Skullcrabat Joker at 2 with Double Iris at 3. I think that is a fair thing to do here.
Pendulum gets a little bit more consistent. That's all I really got.
Yeah, those are definitely consistency cards. I mean, Iris Search is a card. Joker Search is the whole suite of them.
I'm actually very optimistic about this. I think Pendulum being a real deck again is definitely plausible with 3 Double Iris and Joker. That's a lot. Like, as we took away 2 Fractal, like 2 Tenki for 2 Fractal, now we gain 2 ways to get to the trap card for Magician, which was like the best card in that deck.
Yeah, as like to step back at it for a moment, just like think about what you just said there, and you know, Joker's at 2 now. It's a tutor. Tenki's at 1. Rhoda's at 1. The question I guess you have to ask yourself is, are those cards so good that they should be at 1 and Joker should be at 2? The answer might be yes, right? But then you also do have to wonder, are they trying to hammer down a little bit on the current deck so that they can push? And this is obviously also true, right? These things are probably both true, so that they can push a set later on, you know, Burst of Destiny, something like that.
Yeah, it was like I say, something with pendulums in it.
Yeah, like so maybe a set later on with pendulums. They really just want to push that. Right. So let's lower the level of these top decks a little bit so that, you know, maybe Joker can help make a better splash. Or it's just that, you know, Joker really isn't a big deal. He's not nearly as good as Tenki or Rhoda are nowadays. and you know, be at 2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah, I can agree with that. He's pretty comparable to something like Stratos, who's already at 3. It could be triggered off special summon. Joker's only off normal summon. So I mean, like, he's there. These like cards like this are only as good as the cards they can add. So I mean, like, they have a lot of the insane ones are still banned. Like Monkey Board is obviously the first one that comes to head because he's just ridiculous.
Right. I mean, he's just another Joker at that point.
Just one card scale. That's all.
Yeah. He's a one card scale, exactly. So Joker becomes a one card scale.
I feel like no matter what the meta is, that's always going to be insane. Just having that available. But overall, I definitely think that Double Iris going to 3. This might sound like a kind of hot takey type of thing to say, but I definitely think Double Iris going to 3 almost a nail in the coffins Electromite not coming off the ban list, because that's like the generic pendulum link that literally is meant to trigger Double Iris, and I think that's what they don't want.
Oh, so you're saying they're doing Iris instead of Electromite?
Yes. Like, I think if they were going to bring back Electromite, Double Iris would have stayed at 1.
Right. The fact that they're moving in this direction over the last couple of lists suggests something about their intent.
Yeah, because now to trigger something like Double Iris, you have to play something worse. Like, you have to play a bad card, essentially. Or a bad engine.
Is Wavering Eyes unlimited? Is Wavering Eyes 3?
It is unlimited. Yes.
It's unlimited, okay.
And that card's bad. It's bad because no one plays Pendulum.
Yeah, right. It's bad now because that era is getting...
I'm just saying cards that can pop Double Iris, like I was like the first one, besides the trap that it searches, also can pop it.
Luster Pendulum.
The first one I was thinking of was actually Metal Foes, if you put like a Metal Foe package in.
Metal Foes, yeah.
So because you can use stuff like Volflame to pop Double Iris, and then like use the Volflames to go into like a Odd Eyes Absolute to link it off into like a Cross Sheep, and then get the Vortex, and then use Cross Sheep to bring back a guy. Like, there's definitely combos there, and then you get the Pendulum Trap, so you can end on like, there's probably like an Appaloosa Vortex trap card end board somewhere in there that's like very easy to get to.
Definitely.
I feel like
I got an idea that you could pop it with Zodiac Barrage.
Oh, wait.
Wait, figured it out. He figured it out.
Konami thought Zoo Pendulum was too strong. They edited it. Wait, that was a trip video like 6 months ago. This motherfucker knew.
Did you really?
He definitely had a Zoo Pendulum list. I definitely remember it. It's fucking amazing. But I'm actually curious to peep into Triff's stream. And I want to see how his Pendulum deck is doing.
What is he doing? Because he does have a lot more than he used to, you know, like a year ago.
He said Magician. He was testing the new Magician deck.
That's what he's doing right now?
Yes, that's what he's streaming currently. And I kind of wanted to peep at it either after or during while we were watching this, just because I wanted to. I'm definitely curious. That's definitely one of like the eyebrow raisers in my head. I think that there's definitely something there, or could be something there, I should say. Like,
that does combo really.
Yeah. And don't forget, we still have degenerate things like Pendulum Call at 3. The Endymion package is still insane with Servant for Jackal King, so that they don't like Nibiru. Like, there's so many good things going for it that it's almost like impeccable that it's not going to happen. Like, it's definitely going to go through to something will be made here, whether it be Saki or not.
The question generally is, can Pendulum compete at a tournament level with decks that run, you know, 15 to 20 tech cards, you know, maybe more than half of which are hand traps nowadays?
Yes.
That's the question, you know. Can Pendulum just plow through boards and just accept that their opponent's going to combo, you know?
I actually have a prediction about that. I think that when people are picking up crossout detonators and their whole fucking deck list is this Highlander pile of shit, I think Pendulum streamlining into like this disgusting combo that doesn't care what hand trap you're playing because it's going Jackal King regardless and Imprim does nothing, that it will shine overall.
It'll probably do a lot better against a less focused hand trap lineup.
Yes. Like,
yeah, that makes sense actually.
Like people playing 1 Droll and Lopper instead of 3 Droll and Lopper is huge.
Can you imagine just like the mentality that's all right. I almost say maybe we should leave that for later too. The discussion on that card. What's that game? You know.
That was just a piece of it that came up for that deck specifically.
Yeah. That's definitely something to consider for Pendulums and other decks that, you know, may just decide not to. I was saying about that card in particular, participate in that arms race, for lack of a better phrase, you know.
Right, definitely. All right, anything else on Pendulum, on best deck?
But there's nothing else to say. It's the best deck.
That's it. End the stream. That's it. Pendulum best deck. That's our conclusion.
You know.
All right, and the overall fun, the fun unrestricted was the Telly to 2. I think that was a fun hit. That's like Konami like poking the bear a little bit with that one.
It makes Virtual World a little bit more consistent.
I think that's like the least impactful part of Telly going to 2 in my eyes.
It is, but like
probably the least interesting one.
It's like the most meta relevant deck though.
Yes, it's noteworthy.
Run to it. Yeah.
My logic was Virtual World even running Telly before?
It could have.
I saw a lot of lists that weren't playing it at 1.
Yeah.
So now it's at 2.
Like play it at 2.
Maybe I was gonna say maybe they'll play it at 2. It's another way to get to Nyan Nyan, but like overall, like is it really that good? Like probably not. It's like okay in that. Like I'm trying to have fun with like things like Super Quantums and like Monarch to get blue layer to do cheeky shit and all of that.
Cosmo. There's Cosmo.
Phantom Knight play that?
The Cosmo. Well? Yeah, you can play in a Phantom Knight. You can get Ghost Ogre as another interruption. That's definitely something else to consider. And also I saw Shu Ping posted a thing about using the assault mode package again.
Oh god, forgot about that one.
Yeah, so did I until I saw the picture and I was like, oh shit, I forgot assault mode got that random broken card.
Yeah, level 1 or something.
Yes, it's a level 1 psychic that you reveal. What is it? When it's summoned, you add a card that lists assault mode activate in the name from your deck to your hand, and then you can reveal an assault mode activate in your hand to special summon a card that lists assault mode activate in the graveyard. I think it is, because I know it's a 1-card Hulk. So if you like summon that, get assault beast, pitch assault beast, get activate, use the effect on field, reveal activate, get back assault beast, and it's a tuner, and you go into
Hulk. Yeah,
like I definitely remember that. So
that's pretty cool.
It's that, like I said, it's one of those things that's like it's definitely noteworthy. Like something cheeky could come out of that.
No normal summon commitment Hulk. Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, then now there's 2 Telly 1-for-1, and you can do it off normal summon too.
Yeah.
You have to pay like 2 pseudo bricks, but like, is it worth? That's the whole question. It depends what that combo goes into, right? Because Hulk by itself isn't really much anymore unless you're playing like 2 other bricks on top of that. Something like 001 and Colt Wing and shit like that. So you're playing, then you're up to like 4 bricks already just for like 1 play. And that just sounds pretty shit overall.
We all love that 001 play.
Oh god, I think it's so bad. I hate that.
I'm gonna crack out Cosmo again. Fuck it.
Oh my god, he's an Abe. Let it die. Let it die. Let it die. Let it shrivel up and die.
It's not coming back, Vince.
Enter battle phase.
Enter battle phase.
Emergency teleport.
Oh my god.
Farm girl. Game.
Okay, so what do you think about the list in general? Do you think the list was fine?
Like overall, as a ban list, it's like it's kind of like vanilla ice cream. Like no one has a problem with vanilla ice cream, but like it's nothing exceptional. You know what I mean? Like it's just like it did its job. I guess I'm satisfied.
Yeah. Okay, that is. I will say a different opinion from most of the people online.
Yeah,
it's probably more the right opinion, but
it's like the most mid thing I've ever seen.
every list that comes out, there are those people. Like no one's satisfied. Like no one. Like it could be the perfect ban list, but the perfect ban list is subjective. So it's like.
Well, yeah, I remember last ban list. Last ban list was pretty overall liked. That was definitely a liked one. There's always the haters, but like every YouTuber I saw was pretty much, and it was in agreement that this one was pretty. The last one was pretty good. Like they addressed things. That was the Trident ban. And stuff like that.
Engage back to 1.
Engage back to 1. Like overall, people thought that was a good one. They hit a lot of things, and they overreacted about Engage, right? So that list did its job, and it was exciting. It brought new things back. It was fun. This list is like the exact opposite. It's just like this list only exists just to mitigate what they considered a possible issue in the meta.
They're just trying to lightly steer the ship.
As well as hating on Zodiac for no reason.
Yeah, well, that needs to go, apparently. Zoo, man, that prison of the Forbidden and Limited list, they are just like the resident, veterans of that. I don't know. They're like the kids that are on the block. They're known. Yes. I don't even know what I'm saying. But like they're just on there.
Just blabbering.
My brain just malfunctioned. I couldn't come up with any words, so I just had to end the sentence. I'm still talking.
The kids on the block. Yes, Nick, there are a lot of Zodiac cards on the ban. It's like that deck was overpowered.
The deck is correct. All right, so that deck I do feel like was sort of the prototype for Link summoning, and to be honest, even further, Link 1 summoning. Link 1 seemed like they are and I always say as a joke, like, what do Link 1s link with? Like, are they linking with themselves? I don't understand the anime, so for whoever's watching, don't laugh at me. I don't know how the Link thing happens in the show. But Link 1s, I think, are pretty powerful. And it's pretty evident now when we have Striker at 1, Meow Meow at 1. Who else is banned? Link Cross.
LP.
LP's banned.
Mermaid.
There's a lot of other cards that are,
Mermaid.
Oh, Mermaid! Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like I would say like a majority of the Link 1 monsters that like exist in Yu-Gi-Oh are banned or like at least hit somewhere.
Or suspect. Like they're usually being looked at like Pisty's next to join his friends.
Yeah, I think that's definitely arguable. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? It's just very good.
Link 1 seems so powerful, and Zodiacs, I feel like we're doing that before Links even existed. If that makes any sense.
They were doing it before it was cool, as you might say.
Yeah. So yes. So after my brain came back to me there, yeah, Zodiacs are pretty good.
So are we all agreeing that this ban list is very mid? Is that where we're at with it? Like,
I think it's middling. Yeah.
It did what it needed to do. Give it a little slap on the wrist to things that needed a slap on the wrist.
Okay.
Didn't completely gut anything. Tri-Brigade's still playable.
Everything's still playable.
Everything's still playable. This the list that Konami does once a year. That's just like kind of like. Here's a ban list. Yeah. Like, here's a couple cards. Here you go.
It's almost a ban list just for the sake of being a ban list and keeping the players happy.
It's like they're filling a quota.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
The ban list quota.
It's like getting a ticket for going 26 and a 25. You're like, ugh, come on.
That'd be so hard on it.
But
what do you think they should? Do you think they should have done anything?
Definitely Red Eyes Fusion.
Red Eyes Fusion should go.
That is my number one. I know the guy said Dragoons is his favorite card. I love Dragoons too. The fucking art is beautiful. It's like the anime like nut card of like being amazing between Red Eyes and fucking Dark Magician. But god damn it, that card is too fucking strong to be generic in anything that can make two cards.
Yeah, I think that it's very interesting that this just kind of goes back to the Zodiac thing. It's like, oh, any zoo does this crazy combo back in 2017. Even current zoos do some pretty cool stuff with Borbo. Link 1s, any guy does this. Verte, any 2 effect monsters does God comes down from the heavens and destroys your opponent. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's like Zeus smiting you, throwing his 2 fucking lightning bolts, like hitting your monsters.
Yeah. It's just crazy. That card it's insane to say that a card can be, it's not insane to say, it's very hard to say nowadays that a card is too good. Having access to so many, monsters that have negates now, and, you got your Held of Ultimateness and crazy stuff. But Dragoon is insane. It's lines of text on that card. Like, you thought they were gonna stop at some point, and you just kept reading, and you're like, "There's got to be a downside, obviously." And they're like, "No, you can destroy up to 2 of your opponent's cards." I'm like, "What? Why does it have that?" And they're like, "Oh, it also burns them for their attack." I'm like, what? What do you mean?
Wait,
it also doesn't target.
Yeah, it's target. It's like, well, surely this card can't attack this turn, right?
Pause.
No, it can attack.
Pause. I just want to say thank you to the guy in the comment for the Toon Striker listing from before. I appreciate it. Thank you. No problem. But Dragoon gave me fucking flashbacks to reading Spellbook of Judgment, where like every line of text is just like God tier.
Right.
It's crazy. Like, Konami just randomly decides, like every like 5 to 6 years, they're like, all right, we're gonna make this card that's have no downside, so the most busted thing in the world. It's gonna be great.
That feels like the new Ecclesia too.
That Ecclesia is crazy.
That Ecclesia is nuts.
Like what? Who designed? I always said there's this one. I have said this fucking theory for like 10 years now. There is one fucking guy in Konami designing cards, and he like gets one card like every 6 months that goes through, and he's just making like the nuts, like all the time. He's the fucker. Yeah. He's the fucker who made Wind Up Shark, a TCG exclusive. He's the fucker who made Spellbook of Judgment. He made Dragoons. Anything just absurd that exists. I just blame this one guy, this imaginary guy in Konami, just fucking everything up in the metagame. Even something fucking as simple as like what's it called? The fucking oh my god, the Link to Warrior is old. Like something just as simple as that. I'm like, what the fuck? Who made this?
Yeah, Isolde is crazy powerful. It's another one that, you know...
Double Helix.
Double
Helix, another one. Master... Like, half the Spiral cards, let's be real.
You know what's funny is, like, for like a year, that deck was not good.
That deck did nothing until it got Spiral...
Double Helix, man.
Double Helix.
So good.
And then it was just like, oh,
that was like the first crazy Link deck, though, wasn't it? It's like, oh, here's what Links can really do. You want to see? And then,
was Goki before or after that?
I think it was a little bit after Goki.
No, they didn't.
I want to say it was after.
No, they didn't have Nightmare Goblin, right?
They did not have Nightmare Goblin in Spirals, I don't think.
So Goki was before. I think Goki was 2018. Spiral was 2019. I want to say.
Was it?
Possibly.
Maybe. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
They were good though. Let's say that they were just insane. I remember them searching DD Crow like 15 times.
Yes.
Off of, what was the XYZ, right?
Yes.
That thing keeps coming back into the play.
Yes.
Speaking of which, I don't want to derail the conversation too much. In terms of direction of decks, do you think that Tri-Brigade may look back at Bird Up as like an option to play now that Tenki's at 1? Zodiac doesn't look nearly as appetizing. I don't know.
No, I completely agree.
The bird stuff is gonna find its way into Tri-Brigade decks.
So you say all right. So I think that's funny that Vince you say Bird Up. I think it's gonna go back to the Rescue Cat version with the Beast to go into that direction. You just go Cat Gamma because Cat still counts as more starters. Like it can replace that Barrage double Tenki spot. You just put 3 Rescue Cats in, right? And then it's just kind of the same thing, right? Like you just have the same consistency. Cat resolves, you still can play. You have a full combo. So you
but
take
still a normal summon that's definitely going to get like stopped.
Yeah. But you can say that about all the Tri-Brigades, right? Like
sometimes, yeah.
Like
sometimes.
It's still the point is it's a starter. Like you're not going to be bricking. Like you put 3 cats in your deck for the 2 Tenki and the Barrage, and then you take out the other zoo monsters for like say hand traps or consistency cards, cross out whatever it may be. And then you pretty much have the same deck you were going to have, regardless, before this ban list. And it's the same consistency, no matter what. And I think that's why people are upset with it. But taking away Zeus is definitely nothing to sneeze at.
That's true. That's something we didn't talk about, really.
Yeah.
Because essentially they just took a whole power card from that deck. Because that was always a big problem with that deck, was that they can, like, no matter what board you make, they just fart out a Borbo and just smack you in the face with it. And it's like, oh, here comes 2 fucking blow up Zeus that could just win the game by itself, just from card advantage alone.
It's interesting that then I guess like the question is, why did they hit Barrage to 0 instead of Borbo? I guess maybe that their concern was the engine more so than Zeus. But either way, if they're going to stop playing Zodiac, they lose Zeus anyway, right?
Right, I agree.
Yeah, so
I think nothing really is going to come out of the Zoo package anymore. I think that's pretty much a done deal. Like, maybe there'll be some cheeky going second shitty Zoo deck with just 3 Zeus still trying to be relevant. It's like that grandpa who's still, like, hip at the skate park. But like
he lost 2 of his limbs. He's blind, and he's still trying to ride a skateboard.
He's still doing kickflips.
Yeah.
Like his one trick is Zeus. That's all he does. All he can do is kickflip, nothing else. That's such a shitty fucking comparison. Oh man.
Funny kickflip, but pull it off.
All right, so I think it's very well in agreement that Tri-Brigade's gonna stay in the meta. Prank Kid's gonna stay in the meta. Like for the most part, Prank Kid's gonna stay in the meta. I think they're gonna maybe like I would put Prank Kids and Drytron on like they're gonna innovate something, maybe change their combo a little bit, figure out the new M board, maybe play something a little different. But they're still gonna be that tier 1 deck no matter what, just being there.
Yeah. Do you think anything's gonna change come Burst of Destiny or any upcoming sets?
Burst of Destiny is gonna change a lot of shit.
100%. I definitely agree.
I guess the hierarchy.
Like people are saying that that the Sword Soul and the Flunderies deck, like, and possible Beat Trooper, just like isn't good enough right now to compete with the fusion deck. What's the thing with Fallen Valbaz? I can't remember the name.
Oh, Despia?
Despia, yes. So people are saying that Despia, Sword Soul, and Flunderies isn't competitive enough to go up against something like Prank Kids, Tri-Brigade, and whatever it may be else from this ban list. And I honestly, I completely disagree. I think that all of those decks are very playable. I actually think they're almost all at the same power level, except for I think Sword Soul was the only one I would put above them all.
Yeah, I think those decks can definitely. I haven't seen Flunderies. That's a good question, actually. We could we could answer that one. What card didn't come off the list?
Someone just said, "Why isn't Colossus back?"
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it's a good question. But I guess like to wrap up that question about Sword, I haven't really looked at Flunderies too much in terms of gameplay.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen some of the combo lines, and they do seem like a kind of a floodgatey stacks deck, using Magic terms there.
Yes.
I probably agree that when I see it happen, I'm gonna wish the deck never existed.
From what I understand, they're very normal summon reliant, but yes. They have like one insane tribute monster that I'm pretty sure is Majesty's Fiend for them, right? They have like an
it's like
Majesty's Fiend.
It's like attack position. Special monsters can't activate their effects. It's like a
Baguska.
A Baguska, yeah.
There's a trap too that locks your opponent out of the extra, right, or something.
On.
So they can normal summon 3 times that turn.
Yeah, you don't need to run that card. Most decks don't run it. They run the other trap instead.
So I definitely I think it's gonna be kind of where Monarch was. I don't want to say right when it came out because it was like immediately tier 1, maybe like a little bit later.
Kind of hanging
like,
around.
It's like that Saki deck that could just get there, like, and just kind of got there at Nationals, like when it won that year. Like it's that Saki deck that could just get there, and that's I kind of see how I see Flunderies. Like if you lose to it, it's not like he skillfully outplayed me. It's like he just had the right hand. You know what I mean? Like the ceiling's there, the cards are there to just beat anything, but it's just a matter of if you open up worse than them, I guess would be the way to say it. And that's for Flundery specifically. I still think Sword Soul would be the best deck just because I think they have the newer cards are obviously usually the best cards, and like they're not hit by the ban list because they're so new. So something like like we said, the new Ecclesia, all the new Synchros coming out, like there's so many powerful cards, consistency cards coming out, and they have like a 1-card 2 interruption board, like stuff like it just seems so good. It just seems really good for consistency wise.
I just pull up the Floodgate. Yeah, if it tributes something, add a Flundery spawn trap from your deck to your hand, and then you can immediately, after resolve, normal summon again. While tributes on monsters on the field, your opponent's special monsters in attack position cannot activate their effects.
Yeah. I know it was
and then if this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calculation, you can banish 1 card from your hand. That opponent's monster's current attack and defense becomes halved. So you can't even beat over it with something.
I would like to point out that card has 4 very good effects. Like actually 4 really good effects.
Ringing any bells?
Ironic, isn't it? But I wouldn't have minded to like I keep saying like I wouldn't mind Colossus coming back, but I feel like the minute it comes back I'm gonna fucking regret saying it like immediately because I hate it when it's splashed into things.
It's definitely going to be splashing.
Like Pure Thunder, I'm okay with. Pure Thunder's fine. I actually enjoy Pure Thunder as a deck. It's a little inconsistent. Sometimes you open up those weird hands and it doesn't do a lot. But like once they get into those dragon combos and then all of a sudden they're dropping Thunder Dragon Colossus on you along with some other bullshit, no one's having a good time in that meta. Like that's not fun.
That card is pretty powerful. When did it get banned? What year was that? Was that like the year that it came out, or was that the following year?
I want to say it was like the following year. Colossus was around for a good amount of time. I think it was right when COVID started.
Okay, all right. So that was prior to Dark Ruler No More, I think, and Droplet, or Dark Ruler had just come out.
I think Dark Ruler had just come out. I think it was beginning of 2020 was when Colossus got banned, or end of 2019.
Oh yeah, that was the ban list that put
It was Harp Horror banned, Colossus banned.
Yeah, it was the list before Jet Synchron, I think.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
That was the January list. It was the January list of last year, or 2 years ago, or whatever it was. So realistically, next ban list should be the crazy one.
Yes.
If you think about it that way, yeah.
So that's definitely something to keep in mind for the next ban list. To remember that. Thoughts on Max C coming back? Because I feel like Max C should be discussed at every ban list discussion, no matter what. Are we happy or sad that didn't come back?
I'm not sad that it didn't come back, I'll say, and I know there's not a popular opinion among people, but I think the card could exist in the game. I think it's demonstrated by the fact that it's in Japan. It exists there. It is played at 3 in most of the decks.
Yeah.
It's pretty powerful. But I think the card could exist in the TCG, and it wouldn't be the end of the world. I don't think it has to, but I think the card could come back.
Okay. Well, we are on opposite spectrums. I hate
Jared's opinion is that card should never be legal.
Yes.
It is unfair. It is very unfair.
I find it very
one-sided.
Very unfair in overall. I hate this card with a passion. It's like one of my least favorite cards in the game.
It's unfair in the fact it's only unfair if it resolves.
It's a bug.
It is an insect, and as much as I want to play insects, I still don't want that card coming back. It always comes back to the all right. So I watched, who was it? I think it was Pac the other day. Go, and he was talking about Max C, saying for his prediction video that he wanted it to come back because he thinks it would just slow down the meta, and that seems like such a new player opinion, like someone who hasn't played with Max C to understand Max C when it was legal.
Has he played with it or no?
No, Pac started playing in like the 3v3 YCS, I believe was his first like competitive YCS event. In like that was in like 2018 or 2019.
Okay, it was banned by then, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, it was banned. Maxi got banned in like 2017, I think it was, or 16.
Yeah, I remember it was like at 1 in Zoo format or something.
It was when DDD just came out. That was when Maxi got banned.
Okay, that was like right at the beginning of Lynx, I think.
Yeah. So overall, like Maxi is a problem for the person who doesn't draw Maxi. I don't care if it's at 3, at 1. Like you can have all the possibilities in the world, but you haven't like I would love to see a statistic of those years when Maxi was at 3 of like if one person drew Maxi and the other one didn't, what like the win percentage increase was of the person who drew
probably like a 90% win rate.
Yeah, I genuinely think if we had the technology back then to go back and look, I think it would definitely be like above like 80%.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And that would probably, I'll bet you that would be the case even regardless of what deck the opponent was playing. Like even considering the deck was like the opponent was playing, you know, Monarch or some deck that just doesn't special summon, the Maxi would still be amazing on the overall number of matches there, you know?
Yes, right.
It would, because it's such a blowout. Which is funny because I'm saying all this and you're like, well, Nick, why the hell did you just say what you said before? Why could it come back? I definitely see the problem with the card. I think that there are a lot more answers now to it in a way that there just wasn't back then.
There is more answers. I will definitely agree with there is more answers to it, but I have to go by the logic of like a card's can't be justified by the answers to the card. It's what the card like is Dragoon fair because you can kaiju over it, you know what I mean?
That's true. That is a good point. I guess like maybe there are more for Maxi versus Dragoon, there are more game decked. I Is this person just looking at the list?
That's Gary. So good. Yeah, Tenki finally got the slap.
Slap again, yeah. It was at 1 at one point, wasn't it?
Nope,
Yes.
Tenki?
Yeah.
Was it really? Wait, what was Tenki at 1?
It went to 1, then went to 2, then went to 3, and then back to 1.
Wow, I missed
I
that.
don't remember what time that was.
I don't remember that.
It must have been like 2014 or something.
Oh man, I don't remember that at all. I didn't play Beast Warrior decks much, so I can't really like. Maybe that's probably
It's
why.
probably like +1 Fire Fist format is my guess.
Oh, maybe.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Well, what else could it have been?
Or maybe when the first time Zoo came out, like
Zoo,
initially.
actually. It could have been Zoo. I
No,
don't
it's
think
like
it was at 1 though. I remember being at 1. It might have been at 1.
I don't remember. But
Max C though, so I think a lot of the cards that are main deck nowadays are accidental answers, let's say, to Max C in the sense like Call by the Grave. Triple Tactic's not really an answer to Max C. You're still ending your turn, most likely.
yes.
Correct. Cross-out Designator would be, if you're playing Max C. Call by is at 1 though. It's a bit of my problem with Call by at 1. I think that card could be at 3.
It should be at 3.
There's even less of a reason to unban that.
I'm like a stern believer that card should be at 3. I mean, maybe combo decks should be a little bit more rampant. Maybe that'd be the issue with it. But like, it's definitely like a fair card overall. That's like the epitome of a fair card to me.
All by?
Yeah. That's like, because there's decks that it doesn't do anything against. It's just used to force your combos through, and I think that's completely fine. There's hand traps that can also play around it, like Imperm, Nibiru, and stuff like that.
Gamma, they're all very popular hand traps too. They're all very good ones. It's not like you have to play bad hand traps. You know, that would be a thing if all the hand traps that beat Call by were terrible.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's
just true.
But like, I really realistically, right? That's really it. That's all. Like, the only thing I really wanted was like Dragoon gone. I think that was like the only thing I missed, and I think it would have benefited them too, just because of the Destiny hero. But again, we're going under the. We talked about this in the last video that I posted, which was that we were pretty much assuming that Dragoon's gonna get reprinted in something like El Dorado.
Yeah, it's due, and I think they're going to definitely reprint it at some.
They're gonna cash out on it and then ban it.
Yeah, I definitely think the ban is coming for that card in some way, some form, whether it's Fusion himself or Verte. I think the last one is probably the least likely.
Just ban Dark Magician.
Verte. I think Verte is the least likely to be banned out of the 3.
Just ban Dark Magician.
Is Dark Magician listed on his name specifically?
Yes,
right?
He's the one that has to be used for him.
Actually, can you imagine if Dark Magician was the card that got banned for that?
That'd be so hype.
Oh my god.
Imagine playing Yugioh.
We were surprised when they banned Firewall because it was a freaking Ace Monster card.
No, it was deserved. After so
just get ready for people then to play like 3 Poly, 3 King of the Swamp in 2022 or something just to summon Dragoon.
I'm making my Dragoons if it's the last thing I do.
I mean, they already do it. They already do it in virtual. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's true. They do Mud Dragon, right? Oh, he is a King of the Swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dragon with Tutsulkin.
Yeah, there's always if there's a will, there's a way. You can do it.
Yeah, they're already have it. Ban Dark Magician. Let's go.
Ban Dark Magician. Let's go. But
He's the ultimate wizard.
I think overall, if there's any other thoughts you guys have about the ban list, wishes, things you think that missed could be better, thoughts on the future of the metagame. Like I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same. I genuinely don't think the metagame's gonna change too much. Maybe some lower tier decks might make a little bit more of a showing. That's about it. Overall, I don't think much is gonna change. I'm hoping Pendulum, maybe Magician Pendulum, will be able to do something. But other than that, that's really it.
Normal summon Alistair.
Yeah, that's still depressing
I
to
think
hear.
that is still possible.
Yeah, Shadalvoke didn't get hit. Shadalvoke Dogmatica didn't get hit. Like, none Dogmatica.
They were never hitting Dogmatica. It's in the 10s. They're not hitting that. They gotta sell them.
Isn't a Deer Storm like at 2 in Japan or some shit?
I think so.
They are 6 months ahead of us, though, right? 6 to 8 months ahead of us.
I think they're like 2 outs or 2. Like, there's a lot of like random semi hits in Japanese list.
It takes one FTK, Gary. That's all it takes. He mentioned Samsara Lotus being banned. It's for one FTK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's FTK.
Looking at that card, you look at it and you're like, this card is horrible. And they're like, yep, and it's banned.
No, that's how I feel about what's the one? The fucking Tyrant Neptune.
Yeah.
That's a card I look at. You show that to somebody, and they're like, "Why is this banned? This looks terrible."
It's like you show somebody like 3 pictures, you're like, which one is banned? And they're like, oh, it's definitely not that one. You're like, and you just like grin.
Like evil anime smile or some shit.
You like show them like Dragoon.
Yeah, he's showing
Neptune.
Dragoon.
And like something else.
You show them Tyrant Neptune, Dragoon, and like Called by the Grave. It's like, say what's banned at 1 and unlimited. Make your choice.
They're like, well, obviously Dragoon's banned because of age 10 years reading the card.
What the fuck? Oh, that was really funny. That actually caught me. Oh god. Is there like anything at 1 that's like clearly funny for being at 1? I don't even know.
Is Wall Revealing Light still on the ban list?
Yes, it's still. Yeah, show him Wall of Revealing Light.
Yeah, it's still.
Wall of Revealing Light, Tyrant, Neptune, and Dragoon. You make the decision. You say where they go. You figure it out. No, and Danger Nessie. That should be a game. Like 4 people who like past Yu-Gi-Oh players who haven't played. You show them 4 fucking cards, and you're like, where do you think they lie on the ban list this day? Oh,
I feel like they'll get it wrong almost every time. It's just sad to say. But
that's amazing. Maybe I'll do that. That sounds like a fun thing to do with. Obviously, we know plenty of people who stop playing the game. I think that'd be a fun one to.
yeah, that would be pretty fun. I almost want to just sit in silence listening to them like rummage through the reasoning. They're like,
I would be sitting here looking like Light Yagami with a fucking smile.
yeah, they're like, oh, that card stops all spells.
Yeah, that has to be banned, right? No.
Has to be, yeah.
And then they pull up the video of why each card's banned. Like, all right, this is the reason why Tyrant Neptune's actually banned.
Somebody said it might have been House of Champs. I think might have said it. And what do you think about this? Do you think there's any truth to this claim? He thinks that they will never ban Imperial Order because they will not admit that they were wrong about unbanning it.
Oh, the errata with like the errata.
Yeah, and
thing.
giving an errata. Because they have never banned a card with an errata since they, started doing errata.
I don't. Is that necessarily true? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess they haven't banned anything with errata yet, have they?
Yeah, at least maybe the recent ones, the last like 4 years or whatever it was.
Harpy's Feather Duster did not get an errata.
Did not, yeah.
Harpy's Feather Duster and Heavy Storm, which is banned. Yeah, that could probably also be a test.
Heavy Storm is more broken.
Somehow. Yeah. Oh, man, I guess
Triggering
like
double Ice Magician.
it's definitely a thought, but there's also like a first for everything. You know what I mean? Like no one thought Firewall was going to get banned because it was the anime protagonist card, but some things are just too good. That's just how it is. Even something like Blackluster Soldier or Chaos Emperor, those were anime cards too back in the day, and they had to get the fucking hammer.
Yeah, peace out. There were anime cards? I didn't even know that.
They were in GX.
Really?
Yes, those are GX cards.
Damn. Can you imagine those people using those cards? Those kids in that school? And like Yugi's like, I can't believe I gave away my Blackluster Soldier. Souped up in form. To like some 8th grader.
I forget who uses it. I didn't watch a lot of it. It's not in the early ones. It's definitely later. Like maybe like season 2 of GX. I don't remember specifically, but
it totally makes sense too that they would just have that.
Yeah.
There are some of these archetypes in those shows. You got to wonder like who got this archetype because they must have won everything,
Yeah.
Who got Zodiac? Did anybody
No,
get
a good one's Infernity in 5Ds.
Oh, I actually I just saw that the guy who got Infernity.
Yeah.
He did not play well. He summoned, I don't know, the Doom Dragon thing and just passed on that.
Doom Dragon pass Infernity. Let's go.
Yeah. Meanwhile, like, typical Yu-Gi-Oh player at a local card shop is like, let me show you how it's done, buddy.
Yeah, can you imagine? Oh god, I just broke my computer. Can you imagine like watching the show, right? You pick up an Infernity deck. You're like, oh, this deck was kind of expensive, but It's all right. Mommy and Daddy got money, so it's fine. We'll just go to my local game store and we're gonna play Infernity. You start playing your Infernity like for 5 seconds. Your opponent starts cursing at you because they think they're about to get triple barriered, triple Trishula'd to oblivion, and then you just end on Doom Dragon and pass, and they're like, "Wait a minute."
Wait, you bring Infernity players a bad name. Like, but it's the show.
Wait, look at Goki. Goki's the same way. That was an anime deck.
It must have been, right?
It is. It's an anime deck. It was like this. It was. It's like, oh, summon Suprex, summon Guy. It's like, oh, there goes my hand, my extra deck summoning, my special summoning, and fun. And then they just end on like Great Ogre Pass. It's something silly. Yeah, I think that's it for the actual ban list, though. I don't think there's anything else to really discuss. I'm probably gonna cut some of that out. I'm probably just gonna end it before. But
this is like an hour-long video.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna chop this down because this is very long for no reason. But yeah, I guess that's it for the ban list, right? I don't think there's anything else we need to add. Unless there's anything you guys want to add.
No. I think that we hit pretty much all the points
okay.
we need to hit.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, thank you guys for joining me in this discussion. I hope in the future we can keep having these discussions about things like this. I think it's very fun and informative.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, I'm just going to, roll. I'm just going to stream. Screw it. I don't got to keep streaming anymore. Nothing else I want to stream, so.
Bye, guys.
Adios.